You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Welcome to Rom Wills, About That Business. Being of service. You know what? If you want to be in business, I don't care what the business is, whether you selling a product, whether you providing intangible service, like massage or haircuts, something like that, right? You got to have that service mentality. You got to have that thing like you providing a service to this person and you got to enjoy it. You got to have that mentality. Like if you going into a business and you looking down on people and feel like, well, I can't deal with these people and I don't want to be of service to them, you shouldn't get into business. You shouldn't get into business because ultimately you got to think about it. I'm going to put it in a cold-blooded perspective, not a moral perspective, a cold-blooded perspective, right? These people are paying your bills. You providing that service, they pay you for it, they pay your bills. So remember that you are actually serving them. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got a choice. You ain't forced to it because they are giving you compensation. But if you have that idea that you're being of service to them, right, and you providing a service to them, and you enjoy providing a service to them, you make more money. It's that simple mindset. Now, I've always used that example of the dude that sold the buffalo wings, right? And I remember it struck me one time I was in the store, it was a nice looking woman right there. He was like, she's looking at the food. He said, how may I be of service? Right? And that's a very important thing because he was like, she coming in there for food. He could have had an attitude. In fact, the person who bought that particular spot from him didn't do all that. Didn't say anything hardly. Wonder why he went out of business, right? But just having that mentality, you being of service, no matter what you're doing, right? You cleaning their carpet, you actually being of service to them. You fixing their car, you're being of service to them. You giving them a massage, you being of service. You cutting their hair, right? You giving them a facial, whatever, right? Or you giving them knowledge. You actually being of service. Like what I'm doing, I'm being of service, right? I'm being of service, and I'm like, of course, y'all need to compensate me for that service, but I'm being of service. I'm providing something, and I enjoy providing that. Like, I actually enjoy sharing knowledge because I spend so much time getting the knowledge, so it's just like, oh, this is interesting. And it's, it's ironic. I enjoy sharing that. I share it. Y'all be surprised how much information, well, actually on YouTube, I'm technically sharing it for free. Technically. Now, YouTube taking care of me, but for the person who's actually benefiting from the knowledge, and I don't mind that. I don't mind. I like, if I know something and I can help somebody with something, I actually don't mind doing that. Depending on what it is, I will charge though, but still, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy being of service because I'm going to tell you what, here's the thing with being service minded. Somebody, I don't care, you will always stay in business if you figure out what a person's needs are and provide for that need. If you have any business, I don't care what business you get into, if someone has a need, boom. In fact, those are the most recession-proof business, like the food business. They still building restaurants all over the place because people have to eat. People have to eat. Yeah, I know there's some spiritual people talking about we living off air, but you gotta go. You don't need. They probably don't have any money for you anyway, so you don't worry about that person. But people have to eat. If you provide a service where you feeding people and your food is good, you will make money. Like really, like if you have a restaurant or something, right? The biggest thing is not even the service. It's just the location. If you get traffic and you provide good service, get them the food in time, please, you can win out. Like I mentioned before, I worked at this small gym, right? The thing is, we provided a service. We provided a space for people to work out and everything, right? But we provided great service, right? We understood when we were there to be of service. We help people, with their workout programs. We give them towels. Sometimes it was just, the only person all day to say hi to somebody. Only person all day to say hi, but we were providing a service. And like when you go out there, if you look, okay, say, what do people need? Ask that simple question. Now, I know I say talk about your talents and stuff, but, in a previous podcast, but ultimately your talents are there to give you the ability to be of service. So if you look out into the world, it's like, what do people need? What do they need? Do they need coaching? Do they need a good massage? They need a haircut? All right. Let me provide that service. They need their teeth clean. Let me provide that service. Let me provide that service. And if you do that, you will always have money because people will always need something. People always need a service. People always need it, And it's a question, and a lot of times is whether, of course you got self-service, but everybody don't want to do stuff themselves or might not have the skill to do it. You providing food. Like, a big thing now is like people delivering food to you. Like somebody wanted that service. People are like, I want some food, but I don't feel like getting it. All of a sudden, Uber Eats. That's a simple service, or just getting from point A to point B if you don't feel like driving. Boom. You will always have a business idea if you think about what service that you have the ability to fulfill. Always think about that. Always think about that. And then it's just a matter of how well you do it and how far you can expand it. Because if you think of being of service, it's just letting people know you have the service. And trust me, it is little things. It could be some obscure thing. Some obscure thing people ain't thinking about, but somebody needs it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. It was like, I'd be thinking of something. I was like, I don't think anybody has anything to do with that. I'd be thinking some ideas. I look it up. I was like, oh, there's plenty of people who would do that. Especially with the internet now. And see, the beauty of it is if you can even conceive of people needing the service, like or you being able to provide that service, somebody needs it. It's just a matter of you finding the people. All right. That's when stuff like marketing and everything comes up. All right. But somebody needs it. Somebody needs somebody to do a haircut for them. Sometimes they might have something they might not think about. Like for the first time in my life, I had a facial. Right. I had a facial. A woman at I decided I was walking through a hair show. And, I mentioned before when I go to these hair shows, I'm actually purposely trying to spend money. Right. And of course, I ain't just spend money on anything I spent money on is something that I actually could use. Right. And so somebody, a dude, it was a husband and wife and a very enterprising daughter who were like, oh, yeah, if you can get this. I especially like the daughter. The daughter was a young girl. She had to be in her early 20s. She already had that hustle mentality. So they said, how'd you like to get a facial? Get a steam treatment or something. All right. And she did all this stuff. And that thing felt good. I was replenisant afterwards. All right. I didn't even know I needed that service, but I got a card, though. It could be anything small, anything. I mean, like a lot of people talk about like Asians in the neighborhood or something, got all these nail shops and everything, right? They providing a service. People need their nails done. They don't have a problem doing it. In fact, I would argue that that's why Asian businesses do so well. All they doing is providing a service. That's all they do. They find a service that nobody else is providing. They go in there. And they just do a great job. It's a very simple concept in business. You providing a service. Fine. Be of service. Don't have the idea somebody's just supposed to give you money. You need to provide a service to them. Whether you buy, even if you giving them a product, that's still a service. Or even if you got a retail shop, that's a service right there to have a place where they can buy the products they need or the food they need. So always have that mentality, right? Always make some money. People need clothes. Making clothes, that's a service. You being of service by making clothes for people to wear. Ain't no matter what. So have that mentality to be of service. You always do well. So anyway, y'all know what it is. Let's go make that money. Dude.